So Shyamal, what kind of approach is necessary in people's mindset to change over this stressful, disturbed lifestyle changes? And to add to this, how can this affect the productivity of an individual?
So Kanika, that's a very, very interesting question. So one word that we've probably heard a lot over the last 6 to 8 months is uncertainty.
Yes.
You know, everybody is uncertain about so much of things.
Fear.
And they fear, yeah. So when I ask people, what are you uncertain about? What are the answers that we get? We're uncertain about our job. We're uncertain about the wealth. We're uncertain about the security of our family. We're uncertain about whether this job's going to go. We're uncertain about... Every time they give you an answer, they give you an answer that is external. Okay. Now, when I ask people a question, I said, right, is uncertainty a reality or is it a version of reality? Is it a perception or is it reality? So if it was reality, then every single one of us should have the same impact. But if uncertainty is a perception of reality, that is the reason why different people manage it completely differently. Okay? So then I tell them, if something is a perception of a reality, the fundamental question we should be asking is, what part of our psyche controls that perception, and can we bring that within the gambit of our change, is a fundamental question.
I mean, to break it down, I have that fear also.
Exactly.
You know, that, what's going to happen tomorrow, whether as an artist, we've been out of a job. I mean, we've not had any concerts. It's a person. I mean, I'm giving you a very personal example. I have a family to run. I have bills to pay. I have rent to pay. If I don't have a job, and if it doesn't go the way, it was going, what would happen? How would I run my family? How would I run my life? And I think that is the fear.
Correct.
With everybody. And I know so many people. I know so many artists. So many people working in TV. When everything shut down, there was zero income. And I think that is where the fear came from.
Correct.
So how do you work on that? Like, what is it that you need to do to work on that? Because when this is something that is feeding you,
You've hit
that is, to hit the right point, that is the fear.
Exactly. And you've elaborated where I was going. So I was saying that with every single situation, there's an external variable and then there's an internal variable. And that internal variable is your fear. Right. Now, what is fear? Fear is linked to the unknown. As long as something is unknown, fear will be present. As soon as it becomes known, positive or negative, the brain will align all its cognitive faculties to find a way to deal with it. So fear is linked predominantly to the unknown. Now, the unknown manifests in a certain manner through a certain mindset in us. And that mindset is called victim mentality. Right. Now, what is victim mentality? Victim mentality is where you see yourself sitting in the center and you see yourself as a victim of external variables. You're saying, I can't do anything because I'm not getting any jobs. I can't do anything because this person's treating me like this. I can't do anything. Now, why do we default to being a victim? We love it because it preserves our innocence. Right? You can tell that story with confidence because you're innocent in it. But what victim mentality does is it erodes your power. It places you in a position where you're powerless because you see yourself as a byproduct of what's happening from the inside out. So how do you shift this? You shift this by changing this mindset. Right? And you can change this mindset sometimes by asking yourself a simple question like, what is one or two things I could do could shift the outcome of that? So for example, if I'm saying that, I could sit in your example that you just gave me, you could sit at home saying, there are no concerts, what do I do? I'm not earning because there are no concerts.
Yeah.
Then you can ask yourself the question, okay, there are no concerts, that's a reality. Now, what can I do, right, to circumnavigate this problem? And when you start thinking about that, options will present. I could do digital concerts. I could use this time to record more. I could test different mediums in doing that. When you start doing that, right, the fear starts disappearing because the uncertainty is no more present. But you also now gave yourself power. So you're no more powerless and you're no more the victim. You now gave yourself the power to shift yourself out of that fear psychosis. Okay. And that is the mindset that's killing most people right now. It's the mindset of being a victim. And once we switch it,
everyone's a victim.
Everyone's
right
a victim.
now.
And I always give a sporting example. I said, I come from the world of sports, and I say, who is the person that can impact the outcome of a game? It's only a player. You can't impact the game from the stands. You can't impact the game from the bench.
Yeah.
You have to be playing for you to impact it. So I said, I use the opposite of victim mentality. It's called player mentality for me. So I'm saying you have to see yourself as a player in your own life. And when you see yourself in that situation, you give yourself the power to change the outcome. As long as you realize that the power to change any outcome is within your hands and within your power, right, you will manage uncertainty with ease. But as long as you give power to the outside world, okay, you are always going to feel a victim. And victims, the scary part about victims is that a narrative today may be with your relationship. A narrative tomorrow will be with your work. The narrative the day after will be with your kids. The day after it will be with a family member.
Yeah.
The mindset will just keep changing the narrative, right? And you won't even realize it, right? Until you draw your awareness fully to realize that the problem isn't externally.
Yeah.
The problem is
internally.
in the power I'm giving to them.